Hello, my name is Laura, also known as a running yogi. Today this is just a quick 15-minute pre-run yoga style stretch. The main thing before running, you don't want to get too limbered up or too loose as it were. We just want to make sure we've got the strength there. So today we will just work on a little bit of warming up the spine, releasing some tension in the shoulders before we go out for a run. I know for me I'm constantly running up here and having to release my arms to get rid of that tension as I'm running. So we'll just release some tension in the shoulders before we go. Warm up the spine a little bit, have a little stretch through the hips and the lower legs, and then strap on the shoes and away we go. So to start with, sitting cross-legged on your mat if that's comfortable. If that's not going to happen, you can have your legs out in front of you with the knees facing up towards the ceiling. Or if you would like to sit cross-legged, maybe supporting the knees with a block or a pillow or something like that is absolutely fine. I always prefer to do yoga with my shoes off, but if you would like to keep your shoes on, then that's absolutely fine, then you're ready to go afterwards. It's completely up to you. So, sitting nice and tall to start with is the main thing here. Putting the weight in the back of the sit bones here to help you sit a little bit taller. Keeping that core tucked in, closing the eyes if that feels comfortable, you don't have to here. We're not going to stay here too long. Just releasing the arms. Let's inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, maybe making fists with the hands. As you exhale, release those shoulders away from the ears, release the palms. Inhale, shrugging the shoulders up, clenching the fists. Exhale to release that tension. Good, let's do that once more. Awesome. Okay, so taking that right hand on the mat beside you, lifting the left arm up and overhead. As you exhale here, walking over towards the right, bit of a side stretch. Maybe looking up towards the ceiling, you should feel that along the left side. Be mindful that the left hip isn't lifting up off the mat here, keeping that grounded. So maybe that means you have to back off just a little bit, that's fine. Inhaling to come back towards the centre, we'll take it to the other side. The left hand comes onto the mat, right arm up and overhead. Exhale as you dive over towards the left, making sure that right hip isn't lifting up. Good, inhale to come to the centre. Release that. Maybe rolling the shoulders forwards and backwards here. Having the hands resting on the knees, we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, coming forward with the chin and the chest, shoulders and the elbow go behind. Exhale to round the spine. Imagine you're hugging a big beach ball here within the chest. The chin drops towards the chest. You take the gaze to about the belly button. Inhaling to come forward, lifting the chin and the chest. Exhale to round that spine. Let's do that twice more, inhaling to come forward. Exhale to round. Good, coming back to that neutral spine. Taking the arms out in front of you in about 90-degree position here. That right arm is going to come underneath the left, but the back of the hands meet here in front of the eye line. Maybe that's enough, or if you have a little bit more room, maybe the palms of the hands can touch. Now with the elbows, you want to keep those lifted, and the more you lift them, you'll feel that sweet spot in the shoulder where you start to feel that stretch. I'll turn to the side. The main thing here, you need to keep that spine nice and long. So down here, I'm not really feeling too much, but the second I start lifting up my elbows, that's where I start to feel that stretch. Good. Inhale here and exhale out the breath, maybe sighing out if you need to. If it's more comfortable to move with the breath, as you exhale you can lower the arms. Inhaling to rise, exhale to lower. Good. Release those arms here, rolling the shoulders both ways. Let's take it to the opposite side. So bringing the arms out in front of you again. This time the left hand is coming underneath the right. The back of the hands might be enough here, or if you've got a little bit more space, maybe the palms of the hands touch. Either is absolutely fine. Again, keeping those elbows lifted, feeling that stretch along that right shoulder. Down into that spine. Breathing here. Let's check in on the jawline, making sure you're not holding any tension in there. I just noticed I was. Just release that here. Good, let's release those arms, roll the shoulders. Okay, taking the legs underneath you, we'll come into a tabletop position, so nice and flat. with the spine, making sure that the knees are underneath the hips and the wrists are underneath the elbows and the shoulders. If you need to support the knees with something, maybe roll the mat over, or if you have a pillow, you can place that underneath the knees. But keeping that spine nice and long and that core tucked in. As we inhale, let's lift the chin and the chest forward. Maybe the tailbone rises too. As you exhale, rounding that spine, dropping the head between the shoulders. Inhale to come forward, lifting the chin and the chest. Exhale to round the spine. Really pushing that mat away as you move here. Good. Coming back to that neutral spine. The spine is nice and long. Keeping that core tucked in. Let's stretch the right leg out behind us, but staying high on the toes here. So we'll just stretch through the calf a little bit. Staying high on the toes as you push that right heel away from you. Staying strong in the shoulders, so we don't want to dump through the chest, but staying nice and lifted, nice and proud. Stretching that right heel away. Good. Bringing that back in towards the centre. Let's swap it with the left as you stretch the left leg out behind you, pushing that left heel away. Good. Coming back to the centre, restacking into that tabletop position. Let's work up into a downward facing dog. So tucking under the toes, sitting back on the heels, pushing through the hands, staying nice and strong in the shoulders. As you inhale, pushing through the toes and the hands to come up, raising that tailbone nice and high. Giving yourself a really generous bend of the knees here. The more you bend your knees, the higher your tailbone's going to get as you push through the hands. Good. Let's walk out the legs here, so bending into one knee, flattening the other heel towards the mat. Shaking the hips from side to side. Good. Staying nice and long in the spine, getting that tailbone nice and high. Finding some stillness here, maybe bending the knees a little bit more and pushing through the shoulders. Good, let's release the knees back towards the mat, back into your tabletop position. From here, that right foot wants to come between the hands at the front of the mat. So maybe stepping there in one big step, or stepping the foot halfway and using that right hand to bring it to the front of the mat. Inhale as you rise, coming to rest onto that right knee. Slowly bending into that right knee, making sure the right knee isn't coming over the ankle though here. We're stretching through that left hip. Good. Finding some stillness here. Let's frame that right foot with the hands as we inhale, rocking back onto that left leg. Maybe the right toes lift. As you exhale, folding back forward into that right knee, lifting the chin and the chest. Inhaling to rock back here, working on your half splits. Exhaling to come forward. Inhaling to rock back. Exhaling to come forward. Good. Coming to rest back onto that right knee. Resting the right arm here, the left arm comes up and overhead. As you next exhale, bending over towards the right. So we're getting a lateral stretch here, stretching that left side. Engaging those glutes, and particularly the left one here, help keeping us nice and strong. Keeping the core and the pelvic floor engaged, helping us run a little bit taller. Good, coming back to the centre. Releasing that left hand onto the mat. Taking the right arm up and above you, opening up towards that right side. So you're getting a chest opener here. Again, keeping that left glute engaged. Exhale to release, coming back to the mat, taking that right leg underneath you again, stacking back into your tabletop position. Good. This time we'll take that little bit of a sequence on the other side. So the left leg comes to the mat, the front of the mat in between the hands. Coming to rest onto that left knee. Finding that sweet spot to open up the hip on that right hand side. Keeping that right glute particularly engaged. Good, breathing here, staying nice and proud in the chest. Let's frame that left foot. Inhale to rock back, lifting the left toes, straightening out that left leg. Exhale to come forward. Maybe you find a little bit more room with every exhale. Good, let's take 2 more breaths. Inhaling to rock back. Exhaling to come forward. Placing that right hand on the ground now. Oh no, sorry, we'll come up to rest onto that left leg. Good. Taking that side stretch this time. So the left arm comes to rest onto that left knee. The right arm comes up and overhead. Inhale here, and as you exhale, diving over towards the left this time. Keeping that right glute engaged. The core is tucked in, the pelvic floor is engaged here. Good. Exhale to release. Place that right hand back down onto the mat. Coming to that spinal twist on the left side. This time the left arm comes up, opens up the chest towards the left hand side. Good. Exhale to lower yourself down. Coming back into that tabletop position. Let's take one last downward dog here as you tuck under the toes, nice and strong through the hands, lifting that tailbone nice and high. Maybe you feel like you've got a little bit more room here. Bending into the opposite, into each knee as you walk out that downward dog. Good. Taking the knees back down towards the mat. Let's keep the toes tucked under here. And then slowly walking the hands back as you come to sit onto the heels. But maybe this is too far for you for now, so maybe you need to keep the hips lifted. Keeping the hips above the knees here as we're working through a toe stretch through the bottom of the feet. Seeing how you go, maybe you've got a little bit of room to sit back onto the heels. Finding that sweet spot, aiming to get the pinky toe down on towards the mat, but that's quite a deep stretch, especially for runners. I know it's taken me a long time and I'm still not near it, but get in there. Relaxing the shoulders. Good. Take one last breath here. Let's inhale to release that. Tuck and to untuck the toes, coming to sit cross-legged on your mat. Resting the hands onto the knees here. Just allow that breath to settle. Again, let's shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, clenching the hands to make fists. As you exhale, release that tension, unclench the hands. Let's do that twice more. Inhaling, creating some tension here, shrugging up the shoulders towards the ears, maybe scrunching up the face. Exhale to release. Good, one last time. Good. Allow that breath to settle here. When you feel ready, gently blinking open the eyes. Maybe rolling the shoulders a little bit here. Making any little adjustments you need to before putting on your shoes and heading out for that run. Enjoy. I'll see you soon.